Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry. I had a little trouble getting this started so that I could actually be connected to the live chat, which is an important part of the live stream for me to be able to interact with you all. So I'm going to take a moment for people to show up. While I'm doing that, something I noticed, this is just a new thing for me doing these live streams, but I did notice that I got a lot more views after the live stream had ended. So people came back to watch the video after it was actually streamed. So for those people who are watching it in playback, aren't necessarily here for the live, I want to make this enjoyable for you as well. So, we're starting out our topical chat by talking about our psychic experiences. And hi, Stephanie. Hi, Jennifer. So I know someone who left a comment earlier about a psychic experience she had really recently had. I think your name was Erin. So if you're out there, I hope that you come back and tell us about that. If not, I hope to hear about lots of your psychic experiences. But I'm going to talk about first a psychic experience that I had. I think it was either 2005 or 2006. So I was in my mid-20s. And this experience itself is not really all that exciting. But what's interesting about this story, if you've been following me for a while, maybe you just assumed, oh, well, Gabby probably just always, believed in these type of things. That I was in my mid-20s actually before my own skepticism was really challenged by my own experience. So before that I really was a skeptic about paranormal experiences and psychic ability and astrology and lots of different things that I definitely believe in now. Up until my mid-20s, I was very skeptical of those things. So it's interesting that this is who I've become. But the experience that changed my mind was an experience that I had that I just couldn't, there was no logical, I looked for all of the different logical explanations of what could have been happening here. And I could not find a logical explanation for it. So at the time, like I said, this was 2005 or 2006, I was living in a small efficiency apartment. Efficiency apartments generally are small, but you could have an efficiency that is actually big. This was not. This was a pretty small at the apartment. So, most of it was just one room, and then there was a short hallway, and then off of that, there was a bathroom. So I could see 95% of the apartment just from sitting in the living room, which was mostly, the kitchen was in the living room. It was an efficiency apartment. You know what that is. So, one day I came home and I had a cat. I had one cat at the time. His name is Edgar, and he's since passed on. He passed on about 2 years ago. He was a Manx. He was super smart, very well-liked cat. Everybody who met him liked him. And he passed away about 2 years ago. He was 14 and a half, which for a Manx is kind of the upper end of what their life expectancy is. But so I had this experience. I came home one day and my cat wanted to go outside because he was an indoor-outdoor cat already. When I got him, he was already an indoor-outdoor cat. I know some people are like, you should never let your cats outside. Listen, I'm a freedom-loving Sagittarius myself. He already had experienced going outside. And so to me, I was just like, I'm going to try to encourage you to stay inside because you're safer. But I can't just torture you and keep you inside if you want to go out. So anyway, he was an indoor-outdoor cat and I let him go outside. So I come inside the apartment and I'm alone. It's just me. And like I said, a small efficiency apartment. And I sat down in a folding chair that I had in front of a grate. On the other side of the grate was a little bit of a closet. And inside of that closet, it was just basically big enough for the water heater for the apartment. So I sat down in front of the chair, I'd walked home from the bus or whatever that day. It was hot, so I was feeling all of that, it's hot. I just walked upstairs. I'm lazy. I don't like this. But anyway, that's the energy that I was in. And I sat down on the chair in front of the grate and I heard a cat meowing and it sounded like it was coming from inside the grate. It scared me. because I was like, well, there's not a cat here. My cat just left. I knew, I didn't know him well, but I knew the person who lived beneath me. I knew that he didn't have any pets at all. Someone across from me at the time had a dog. I don't know who was living next to me, but I was aware of my neighbors and what pets they had or didn't have. And I heard a cat, and it wasn't just a cat. It wasn't like the cat's voice coming from outside the window. It was coming from the grate directly behind this folding chair that I was sitting in. And I was like, what? That's like so weird. The voice of the cat can't be coming from anywhere else. It has to be coming from this grate. But I was scared to look inside the grate because I'm like, oh my God, if there's an actual animal in there, like that's kind of creepy and scary. So, I tried to use my logic. Because remember, if you're just coming now into the chat, you didn't hear me starting out, but like I was a skeptic about psychic experiences until I was in my mid-20s. So I'm telling the story of the experience that I had where I couldn't logic it away anymore. And it was this. So that was the initial experience with this ghost cat. It was the ghost of a cat that I experienced, I'm pretty sure. And I was just like, okay, my mind can't compete that right now. I'm not going to look in the closet where the water heater is because I don't want to know for sure if there's an animal in there. I'm just going to kind of hope that this goes away. So then the next day, or maybe a couple days later, I'm sitting in my bed, which is on the opposite side of the room from where this grate is. And my cat is with me at that time. And he's laying on a rug in front of my bed, and I can see him. I can see that he's not meowing. He's just was sitting there taking a bath, doing his thing as cats do. And I heard that meowing again, coming from behind the grate, not coming from where my cat is. And I can tell that he's not meowing. He's also not reacting to the sound of another cat meow, which if you're a cat owner, that's rare. Like cats are they don't always like other cats, but if they're aware of the presence of another cat, they're going to be paying attention because cats can be very territorial, But my cat did not respond at all, again, to the sound of this cat meowing. And it was coming from the grate on the wall behind which is just a tiny little closet with a water heater in it. So I got up and I went across the room. And I finally opened it, and there was nothing inside. And I couldn't figure out an explanation for that. Knowing who my neighbors were, interacting with them. If someone was cat sitting for someone else, I feel like that would have come up. But anyway, yeah, there was no other explanation other than it being the ghost of a cat. So I'm already a crazy cat lady, as you know, if you watch my channel at all. But now now you know how crazy it is that the first experience I have that makes me not want to be a skeptic or realize that maybe there's not such a reason to be a skeptic anymore was me experiencing a ghost cat. So anyway, like I said, that's not the psychic experience in and of itself isn't like mind-blowing or anything, but just for those of you who follow me, I thought maybe it would be interesting for you to know that I was actually a skeptic until I was in my mid-20s, and now I'm 39. So, my continued awareness of these things has developed since then. Images asked if I could pull a general card. I will be doing that after the topical chat. So for the first, 20, 30 minutes, we're just going to be talking about our psychic experiences. And then after that, I will start doing readings. The information on the cost for the readings should be in the description box. I had a little trouble getting started today. Let's try to give me some better lighting. I don't know if that's really helping. I feel like less light is better lighting for Gabby. That's how I feel today. So I will be. Stephanie says you can't keep a cat indoors that wants to be outside. Thank you for understanding, because I have had people before make me feel bad about that. But I feel like it's an ethical dilemma, Like an ethical dilemma is a situation where There's not necessarily, can you all even hear me? I don't see my microphone showing up down here. It sounds like you can hear me. You're responding to me. Lakshmi, I think I saw a white cat in my apartment yesterday. It freaked me out, and it was just a glimpse. Say is saying that she would love to have a ghost cat around her. Okay, thank you, Lakshmi, for letting me know. You can hear me loud and clear. Yeah, technology is not my strong suit. On my end of this, from behind the scenes, inside YouTube or whatever, it shows me myself, and then underneath it, it has a little microphone icon with little lights. And last week when I was using this, when I would talk, the little lights would light up green, I guess to show me that my microphone was working. But anyway, I'm glad that you all are letting me know. So what about, I'm going to scroll through the chat and see, or is there anyone who wants to talk about their own psychic experience? It could be a ghost. It could be like a premonition, whatever it is. I'm interested in hearing some of your all's experiences, or I can dive more into mine. Sometimes I think that, sometimes I think I'm rather boring. Doorways to fandom: bees, butterflies, birds, and numbers are all synchronicities going strong. Yeah, I've been seeing birds keep coming up for me lately too, and bees for sure. The apartment that I live in now, which thankfully is not an efficiency, not that I need a lot of space or anything, but like I'm definitely glad that I'm beyond my efficiency apartment days. It's nice to have a little bit more room than that, but still living on the cheap. But anyway, I moved in here this past September of 2019. And so when I moved in, it was after the time of the year when you would normally see a lot of bees. And then when it started getting warm this spring, there are just so many bees outside of my apartment, which I view, I mean, it was a little scary at first because I'm like, they were like everywhere when I'm coming out the door and going down this staircase, like a ton of, I was like, you know, like, let me admit this feeling of peace towards these bees so that they know that I'm not trying to hurt them. But I like having the bees. I put out a few plants this year, and so I like having the bees around to help me with my plans. I guess it's a little bit of a selfish take on it. But yeah, I'm living with bees. I had a beehive at my old apartment too, though, so I think bees are following me around. Bees are symbolic, for one thing, of productivity and like working in cooperation with other people. It can also be about like being a part of your community, like feeling connected to your community. Yeah, Stephanie, I would be annoyed by that. You know, I mean, cats just like to go outside, and they don't, I mean, dogs are great. In my adult life, I haven't owned dogs, mostly because I'm lazy, but cats don't cause the kind of problems that dogs do when they go out alone. So I don't know why people are against it, but Doorways has experienced lots of ghosts and deja vu. Let's hear some of your ghost experiences. Lakshmi, my first psychic experience was seeing a pair of legs just walking by in white linen pants in my kitchen. I didn't get a weird feeling. It didn't feel scary either way, but I just saw it very clearly. That is very bizarre. Wow. One day I was this is calculated movement. One day I was in a bridge in Manhattan with a friend. I was walking by the highway near the river during sunset, and there was a woman who was grinding glass into her arms, bleeding. I freaked out. I hope that was a ghost. I spoke to her. I told her to stop grinding her arm. Me and my friend found out she was a ghost of a woman that appears at sunset. She has killed herself. Wow. Okay, so you all are giving me lots of good stuff. Say says, I was 9, asleep, and woke up because there was a bright but kind of cold light. I turned around and there was a woman in the hallway. She looked at me in a way. There will be something bad, but hang in there. So you felt like she was telling you that something bad was going to happen, but to hang in there. The next evening, I experienced my parents fighting for the first time, and I instantly knew they would get divorced one day. I was right. Wow. So there was some sort of supernatural presence. Maybe it could have been an angel in your case, say, but there's some sort of protective supernatural experience that wanted to prepare you for that so that it wouldn't hurt so much, to kind of give you support. That's amazing. Wow. Okay, I think Sydney telling us a story. I asked the Lost and Found fairy. Is that a deck, the Lost and Found fairy, or is there a fairy that helps you find lost things? I asked the Lost and Found fairy this morning to help me find my clear quartz today. I was called to clean out this corner of my living room since homeschooling is done for the summer, and I found it in that corner just now. Whoa, that's nice. I want to make a video about a particular fairy experience that I had here. I really feel like there was a fairy that visited this particular home of mine, and maybe has multiple times. But my cat saw it. My cat was chasing something around. I feel like she was chasing a fairy. And I've never experienced, I've seen lots of orbs in this apartment and in my last apartment. And so sometimes fairies can be seen as orbs. But anyway, I've never actually seen a fairy, but I really felt like there was a fairy in this apartment of mine. So it's interesting. It's, and that's something too, like even up to 2 years ago, I like to think that I'm open-minded, but until a couple of years ago, I didn't believe in fairies really either, or unicorns. I like the idea of them, like in terms of like storytelling and things like that. Hi, Miss M. Says the thought of her always gave me strength. Yeah. So if you haven't heard me talking, if you're just coming in, Say told her, Say Churuta. She told me I could just call her Say. But anyway, she told a really interesting ghost experience that she had energy. I think the Fae, Dorwees is saying, I think the Fae are attached to the plants. I hear you must keep taking really good care of the plants or they will be so mad. Yeah. But this is my question. Do fairies know the difference between I'm trying to take good care of the plants and I have like the worst green thumb? Like, do they know the difference between trying and just like purposefully not caring? Because I care, but I'm not always good at keeping plants in good health. Oh, let me see here. Plants keep really growing after I pray over them. So that's interesting. Let's see. Oh, Sydney says she feels the tickles of fairies. Yeah, I don't know if even I've felt that exactly, but I do feel like there might be fairies around here. If so, I hope they understand that I'm doing my best. My best could be better. Sydney says, I have a bamboo that my husband brought me recently, and the bamboo is happy. I've asked fairies to help my plants grow. Yeah, I should ask my fairies to do that. Yeah, because it's like, hey, listen, fairies. Like we both want the same thing here, right? We both want the plants to do well. So but also I don't have much of a green thumb. Okay, Say, tell us more about that. She said she had a dream of someone and the dream saved your mom's life. Okay, Trejo, my cat passed away and my friend said they saw her a few times. Eventually I moved out of that house and I was sad, but she followed me to my new apartment and I saw her for the first time walking beside me. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel the presence of my cat Edgar, who's passed on sometimes. He lets me know of his presence in different ways as well. He was a really special cat. He also shows up to my niece. She's mentioned before, like kind of seeing him out of the corner of her eye, and she had a really special connection to him. Like his passing was very sad to her, and she'll still bring it up. She'll still bring it up to this day. But yeah, he shows up as well. So yeah, definitely our pets, they will do that for sure. Okay, Robin says, I had 2 psychic experiences about shootings. One was in Florida. I had a dream about it happening. So you had a dream that the shooting was going to happen. Then I woke up and it was happening on TV. Another one was during a meditation. Why violent ones? Violent ones. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Why do we have certain psychic experiences? And there are times when like really big major events happen, and it's usually a traumatic thing that's happening where there will be lots of people all at once who get psychic dreams or other kind of psychic awareness of the fact that something is about to happen. Yeah, why is it? I don't know. That's a good question. Why would it be that you're having dreams about the violence? I don't know if it's just that there's a lot of psychic energy that's created with traumatic events and acts of violence, and maybe that psychic energy that's created, maybe you just happen to be tuned into that radio station, so to speak. I don't know. But so it's hard for me to scroll through the live chat. I wish it wasn't so slow. Like I'll move to scroll and then like a few seconds later it will actually scroll. So I'm missing some of your all's comments, but oh, Sydney says she saw a gigantic orb come from the sky when she was taking her son for a walk to calm him down. It was orange and purple. It put me in shock. I wonder if that was an angel. That sounds like an angel or maybe an ascended master. Orange and purple. That's very interesting. Did it seem loving? The thing is, I think even people who've experienced angels, like it can be very terrifying, right? Even though it's like also a beautiful experience. I mean, I know that my angels are around me. I've never like seen an angel exactly in that kind of way, but that makes me think that it might be an angel. I don't know. Lakshmi says, I think our psychic experiences are very dependent on how we feel in our subconscious, basically whatever emotion feels more familiar to us. That might be the case. I mean, I don't know. Like some psychics, this is the thing too, like there are different reasons for people to have psychic abilities. I mean, I personally feel like all people at some level have psychic abilities. And, like so far, what I've been able to do with mine is to help people by doing readings. But that's not what it always is. I mean, there are other psychics who help by solving crimes, like they can tune into crime events. And that doesn't mean that there's anything off or violent about that particular psychic, but they're they're picking up on events that transpired, oftentimes that are violent, or like, why do people choose to become police detectives? You have to be willing to look at some pretty disturbing elements of the human experience in order to be like a homicide detective. But at the same time, like, we have to have people in those types of roles, or people who perform surgeries, like maybe there's an essence of this around psychics. Like, some psychics maybe need to be able to look at those more disturbing experiences more clearly, so that they can develop a use of psychic ability that can maybe help prevent violence. But yeah, I think in the example that was given before, she had a dream about this shooting happening, and then she woke up and it was happening on TV. There wasn't really a way for her to intervene, but it could be that her psychic ability is awakening so that maybe she can develop that, or maybe not. I don't know. So Sydney was talking about seeing a huge orb descend, and then it was orange and purple, and she was saying that it did scare her, and then it disappeared in the middle of the street. I couldn't remember walking back to the restaurant. Yeah, I hope that it was an angel. It doesn't seem like it was trying to do anything wrong to you, at the very least. So Say is talking about a dream where she had a man come in the dream, and so your mom was about to go roller skating or something. I wish I could scroll more easily. Oh, rollerblading. You were going rollerblading with your mom, and suddenly this guy that you had seen in your dream before stood in front of you. He looked at you in shock, and you said out loud, "Wear the helmet." Your mom was pouting because you had been so loud, but she did put the helmet on, and a few minutes later, she fell hard on her head. The doc later said that the helmet had saved her. Wow. So yeah, that's a very profound experience of where, some psychic experiences are just weird, and there's not much more to them other than that. But just to, like, I guess, let us know, like, reality is so much bigger than what our perspective allows us to see. And then there are experiences like that where it's like there was some sort of like intervention from the astral world, the non-physical world. I had an experience like that about my niece, maybe 5 years ago, something like that. I don't have any kids. All of my nieces and nephews are very important. This particular niece is my sister's daughter. And I have two cousins who I think of their kids as my nieces and nephews as well, just because we all grew up together. But my sister's daughter, I've always spent more time around, just because I spend more time around my sister. But a handful of years ago, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I had this strong fear of losing my niece. Now, my mom died when I was 11, so I guess I was, I don't know, used to, or like I understood from a young age that death was just part of life. It's just something to be accepted. People do pass on, and yes, it hurts, and there's a lot of grief, but it is also just something that happens. But I never thought of losing my niece. She was maybe 5 years old at this point, and all of a sudden I just had one day the strongest fear of losing her. And I cried and I prayed and I asked angels to be around her. And a couple days after that, just out of nowhere, my niece's dad had decided to come pick her up for a visit, which normally he didn't do. And within a couple hours of my niece getting picked up, my sister was in a car accident that really caused a lot of damage to her foot. She was already somewhat disabled before this, and it led her to be even more disabled. And, would I have lost my niece in that accident if she'd been in the car? Who knows? But she definitely would have experienced a level of pain that I would not have wanted her to experience, like that would have been, it was traumatic enough for her to know that her mom was in a car accident. But Let's see. Anna's telling us a story here, I think. Let me go back to your original post, Anna. I can't find it. Okay. Anna says, my most profound psychic experience was a dream about a beloved uncle who passed. I didn't get a chance to go to his funeral, but I had a dream where he embraced me and it felt so real. Yeah, I would say that it is real, probably. Like his spirit is connecting to you in the dream. Anna also says, in the dream, there was a full moon reflected on a lake. And exactly a month after his passing, I was out camping near a lake where I saw a full moon in the water. The experience was so comforting. Yeah. It's wonderful how our loved ones have doorways to fandom. Ear ringing happens a lot when guides and angels want attention. That's interesting. I had a weird experience of that. I went to this, I don't know if you all know what theosophy is. I don't exactly know what it is myself, but theosophy, anyway, it's a group of people who are studying esoteric subjects. And for a while there, I was going to this theosophy group. I was never super regular about it, but one day I went and there was someone there who I'd never met before. And he was talking about his spirit guide experiences. And I was sitting there listening, but also wanting to respond. And I got this weird feeling in my ears, but also what I heard was like a gong. It wasn't just a ringing. It was like almost like the sound of a gong. And the feeling that went along that was kind of like, this wasn't said to me, but I felt like the message was sit down and be quiet because you're actually listening to someone right now who's very spiritually evolved, who has a lot of wisdom. They're like, you don't understand the level of soul that is talking right now. And it's just like, sit down and be quiet. I wonder if this was one of this person's guides, actually, who was just like, hey, I see you over there thinking you have something important to say, but you need to just listen for a moment. So that was a strange experience. Sydney says, my ears ring all the time, especially when I have a good idea or conclusion about something. I love their confirmation. Doorway, you can turn off psychic too, or have the business of life kind of block you off. So the orb might be because defenses were down. Guides, angels will help if you ask about ideas. Sudden inspiration, thank your guides or angels. That's a good point. Yeah. A lot of those sudden inspirations are most likely coming from someone or something with a higher perspective than we have. Yeah. Has anyone ever experienced the true voice of an angel? Not adjusted to our ears or brains, but their actual voice. It's no fun, in my opinion, no fun at all. I thought my head was about to burst. Wow, that's crazy that you experienced that. I have heard that when people experience angels, it is often very terrifying, which is probably why they try to communicate to us in other subtler ways. Sometimes we're like, well, why can't you just show up and show me who you are? But yeah, it seems like it terrifies us when they do. So it makes sense that they would choose to just send us omens or like number messages and things like that. Maybe the message doesn't hit us in such a profound way, but maybe if it would be too profound for us if we did. That's interesting that you had that experience, say. Well, that angel must have really wanted to get your attention, though. That angel is like, I could send you a feather, I could send you a repeating number, but there's you need to pay attention here. It was during meditation. It was Michael. He thought he could talk freely. Why? I don't know. It was like standing underneath a ringing bell, a huge bell. Wow, that's a very interesting, profound experience. Well, I am going to open it up now. If anyone wants some sort of reading, we can continue talking. But also, if anyone wants a reading, there are different prices below. You could start it out by just ordering up an oracle message for the room, or I'm also offering personal oracle card readings or personal tarot readings. Now, for the tarot readings, I might use oracle as well, but that's going to be more like if you have a specific question to answer and you want a more specific response. You can also ask for an oracle card reading for yourself, and that'll be, you know, like me reading from the oracle book, which, you know, that requires psychic ability as well to be able to figure out which deck wants to speak to you, where is your message, all of that. Sydney says, I heard the angels singing almost like the sound of water glasses during the buck full moon last year. My husband couldn't hear it, but I thought it was beautiful. That's wonderful. I think I keep talking about my niece, but when she was a baby, I think she heard angels singing one day, or maybe it was just me putting that onto her, but we were just sitting there. There was no noise. I couldn't hear anything. And she just said, what's that noise? And I said, I don't know. I said, what does it sound like? And she said, it sounds like music. So I wondered if she was hearing some sort of angelic music. Have any of you ever experienced tingling on your head, on the top of your head, like your crown chakra? I experience that sometimes, and a lot of times it will be, I'll be thinking about a particular person, or even like thinking about a particular thing that I would say to that person. And then I get these tingles on the top of my head, which I kind of feel like maybe it's like telepathy that's happening. Like either, you know, what I'm thinking, maybe it's getting transmitted to that other person who I'm thinking about in that moment. And that's why I feel tingles. Or is it because I'm experiencing the kind of like energies of our chakras connecting in that moment? I think it's some kind of experience of telepathy, or just letting you know, reminding you that there's some sort of psychic connection between you and that person you're happening to think about. So maybe some of you have felt that before, tingling on your, feel them a lot. Yeah, me too. But it's only in the past 2 years is really the only time I've started noticing it. But it happens a lot for me too. I have channeling abilities where the person or guide speaks through me. Yeah, I think that what I'm doing is channeling too, but it's not quite in that way that you're talking about. But I think that's interesting. One of my early mentors, when I first started getting involved in the metaphysical world, she was a channeler, and she would channel these higher level beings. The first one that I went to of hers was, she was channeling the Archangel Gabriel. I'd never met her before in my life, and yet she said things that really, I feel like I think that were coming from some sort of psychic awareness. But I also saw her channel Metatron, Kuan Yin, at a time when I'd actually never heard of Kuan Yin. Before Kuan Yin came in, she said, my friend who channels, she said, you know, we started out with Metatron, and she said, Metatron wants to step aside. There's another presence that wants to come through. And I thought immediately, I was like, oh, I think it's Mother Mary. For some reason, I thought that it was Mother Mary. That's the energy that I felt. And then when Kuan Yin's kind of sat into this channeler, it was like these concentric circles of love, just like when you throw a stone into a pool of water, the way that the circles ripple out, that's what it felt like, these waves of love coming from Kuan Yin during that channeling. And then my friend said, this is Kuan Yin, who I'd never heard of her before, but sometimes she is seen as being kind of similar in the energy of Mother Mary. Okay, so Teresa had an interesting premonition dream where your roommates and other people took your things and were selling them, and literally 2 weeks later that happened. Well, that's really crappy that they would do that. Oh, one of your spirit guides sketched a bird. That's really cool. Do some of you make fun of the angels? I don't know if I've ever made fun of angels, but I feel like they have like basically zero ego like we do. So I can see how they would appreciate that and not get offended by it. Stacy says, I also channel my twin's higher self, and then I tend to hear from him after he confirms what was said. That's interesting. Yeah, definitely. I feel like the twin flame experience, I wonder sometimes if the twin flame experience is meant to help us become more strong in our telepathic abilities. You know, because it seems like twin flames have a natural sort of telepathy. Metatron told me to communicate with him through sacred geometry. What didn't I bring? I have an Archangel Metatron deck. Should I use it? Should I go ahead and get the party started? Nobody's buying any readings. Anyway, so let me go get I have an Archangel Metatron deck. Since we've been talking about him so much, maybe he'll have something he wants to say to us. I'll be back. Okay. Oh, yay. Hey, Miss M, thank you. Okay. So $5 since I went to this is, and I think that this is probably a message for the room as well. So go ahead and get it started. For Miss M, wanting to know just what Spirit would like to say. Okay. The Archangel Metatron. I don't know if this is reversed for you all, but anyway. Archangel Metatron. That's so cool. We're having a real Metatron moment today. I was thinking of him a lot earlier, too, before this reading. Weird. He just wanted to be with us. Okay. So Miss M, boundaries. It says boundaries, set them daily. So my camera's not great here, but hopefully you can see. It's like an archway. There's a tower in the distance with the sun behind it, and there's a little key on the path leading up to it. So let me find this in the book. So Metatron wants to talk to you about boundaries, Miss M. Every day as the sun rises, you have the opportunity to set your personal boundaries for the day. Are you going to allow others to dictate your thoughts, emotions, and actions? Or are you going to stand tall in your power and reclaim your energy, time, and life to do what is most important to you? You will be tested along life's path by those who drain you, those who disrespect and devalue who you are, and the precious life given to us to be lived fully every day. Ultimately, it is your responsibility to create clear boundaries that work for you in all areas of your life. Look at situations where you allow others to take advantage of you. Look at situations where you put yourself last. Look at any relationship, business or personal, where the balance of power is all wrong and you are the one doing all the giving or taking. Archangel Metatron invites you to create a wall of green energy around you where you can retreat to realize what is important, who is essential, and which daily tasks need attention and which do not. The answers to a balanced life are in this lush, fertile place where you can create the reality that sustains you every day. There are times when you will be drained and need replenishment to carry on helping loved ones when they are ill or infirm. You can only do this work if you first look after yourself. The same goes for many other situations in life, raising children or being responsible for others who rely on you. The key to being at peace and in control of your life starts with boundaries. Without boundaries in place, you leave yourself open to the demands and whims of others and a disempowered sense of being. Realize too that boundaries change. What serves you one month may need changing the next. This is why the color green in this card, symbolizing growth, expansion, and space, is so important to focus on now. The boundary line depicted here is a hedge, something soft and yielding that can be carved into any design needed to help you. It is not hard or rigid. It is alive, just like you. It is there to protect, preserve, and support you. Feel your boundaries around you today. Look at times you have said yes. Are they in place or not there at all? Are your boundaries in place or not there at all? It is not hard or rigid. It is alive, just like you. Oh, sorry, I skipped. Learn when to say no and when to say nothing at all. When such lessons are learned, the holy grail of a day well spent is available to you. We wish you well. So definitely some boundary setting. Are you asking about my earrings, if they mean anything spiritual? They're just pretty, but they do happen to also be green, which is the color that we were talking about. But no, I just like earrings. Miss M says this is very relevant. I'm very glad that it was. Yeah, but boundaries are relevant, I think, to everyone all the time. You're very welcome, Miss M. Thank you also. Let me pull an extra little oracle for you, Miss M, from this Starseeds deck, since you got us started out. Magnificence. I think the screen is reversing, so you're probably seeing this, you're not actually seeing the word, but you are amazing, magnificent, and unique, but most importantly, you are enough. So I think going along with what the other message was saying, maybe there are moments when you're struggling to feel like you're enough unless you're just giving and giving and giving and giving. Like you have to prove to yourself that you're enough by continuing to give. So I think the message is you're more than enough. You're magnificent. You know, you don't have to give more than what you're capable of to be a wonderful human being. I'm only doing paid readings today, Sunny, and you can find the details for those below. Yeah. Oh, hi, Katrien. Okay, just to hear whatever spirit wants to talk about. Wonderful. Let's see, which deck should I use? This Osho Zen Tarot deck is calling out to me. This tends to be more of a spiritual deck, so that makes me think that maybe there's more of a spiritual message that's wanting to come through to you, Katrien. Before I get into your reading, though, I do want to say one more thing about boundaries, because this is something that's been coming up a lot lately. Is that, you know, if you're a giver, if you're someone who's always giving and giving and giving and giving, something that my guides have suggested is to practice just not giving. And what you learn through the practice of not giving, it's not like you're never going to give to anyone else ever again, but, you know, like feel what it feels like to not compulsively give all the time. And what you learn in that process of not compulsively giving all the time is that people will still love you. People will still love you, and without you always having to give. I think that's a lesson that a lot of us need to learn. You know, I mean, most of us here are women. Maybe we aren't always all of us, but I think for those of us who are, if you've been socialized as a woman, there are these expectations that women are just meant to give and give and give and give, you know, and we can still be deserving of love without having to overgive and deplete ourselves all the time. Putit. Okay. Well, thank you for Sweden. That was very clever, but I'll just say your first name there. Just very clever. Okay, let's get to Catrian. What does Catrian need to know? Okay, we get sorrow reversed, which is the 9 of Swords. So they want to talk to you about a sorrowful experience that you've been through recently, Catrian, but they see that your sorrow is dissipating. So your guides can tell that you're moving out of a place of sorrow and you're letting go of something. We have the 8 of Cups. So your guides feel like this is a very beautiful moment where you're letting go of sorrow. You're allowing yourself to focus more on the joy of letting go, but it's a difficult process still. Okay. Thank you, Miss M. Thank you so much. So yeah, your guides, Catrian, are saying to continue to trust this moment that you're going through, because you are trusting because you're letting go of these anxieties. You're letting go of a situation that may have felt like it was good for you for a time. And now you're realizing it's not where your energy needs to be anymore. So your guides are very happy that you're learning that. And it's a little bit, it takes trust. It's like taking a trust fall, right? You're trusting that as you let go of whatever this is that you're letting go of right now, that you will be supported and held. So your guides are saying, absolutely. Continue to have that faith, continue to move forward and let go of the mental anxiety that you're experiencing as you go through this transformation where you are letting go. We also have completion, which is 21. Which I think is the World card. So I'm getting the message here of you're putting a lot of the puzzle pieces together, Catrian, a lot of the things that have sort of confused you in the past. And this makes me think a lot about childhood issues too, this particular card. Maybe you're putting together the puzzle pieces regarding your own childhood and specific experiences you had during childhood that have maybe always been sort of confusing to you. So there's something about this process of letting go and moving forward that also is connected to childhood experiences that may have been confusing. I think you're having some psychic and intuitive insights. This is the High Priestess. It says inner voice. As you're going through this process, I feel like you're understanding intuitively maybe why certain childhood experiences happened, or it's all just becoming a little bit more clear to you, and it's allowing you to feel safer than you've ever felt. We have understanding reversed. You're moving through a situation where there's been a lack of understanding, Catrian. And I think you're moving into a place where you can start to trust that people will understand you. Maybe that's been the issue. You want to communicate something about the past. You've moved on or you're moving on from the past, but you still feel like you need to communicate or be understood regarding this transition period where you're moving on. You're needing to be understood. And sometimes you're still, I feel like your guides are saying that's the area where you're still lacking the most faith. You have faith that it's okay to move forward, but you don't always have faith that people will understand you if you try to explain to them why you're moving on. This is exhaustion reversed, or the 9 of Wands. So your guides just don't want you to be carrying this heavy burden. They want you to keep going back to faith. Keep going back to faith and let them kind of take some of the burden off of you. And just continue to have that trust fall. Know that they're going to catch you in this process of this trust fall. That if there's something that you need to communicate to someone about this moving on experience that you're going through, you'll be understood. You'll be given the right words to express it. The person who you want to communicate yourself to will also be given the ability to really hear you know, and truly understand what you're saying. Yeah, you're definitely going through a major transformation. So they don't want you to think that this is just some minor thing. This is the type of transformation where you're not going to be the same person afterwards. It's going to have a big impact, the change that you're going through. And maybe some of the people that you're wanting to communicate to about this transformation, maybe this will change their life as well in some way. But yeah, you need to understand that people do care about you. Like, people want to help you through this transition, right? There will be people who help you. This is like a trapeze act here, and you're the person in the middle of a trapeze act. You have to start trusting that not only are your spirit guides and your angels helping you with this trust fall exercise, but people in your actual life are going to help make this transition that you're going through smoother. Yeah, the Full card. It's taking a leap of faith. This is definitely like trust fall. I just keep getting that phrase. You're experiencing a trust fall. What's the point of doing a trust fall exercise? Is to learn to trust that people will catch you. Yes, friendliness, like learning that you're a unique individual. Other people in your lives who love you, they're unique individuals. But when you bring your energy with theirs, you create a new sort of an energy. So it's about you moving on in such a way that you learn how to trust other people better. That's the message that I'm getting for you, Katrian. So I hope that really helps. Okay, Julie says, hi, Gabby. I've been watching your videos for a while. Thank you. I want to know, how does my love interest Mike feel for me right now? Wonderful. Let me see if this is the deck that I want to stay with or not. How's Mike feeling? I do think I want to stick with this deck, but I might use some other decks as well. Hi, Nina. All of the information is down below in the description box for the amounts. And in terms of sending the payment, there's a little $sign underneath where you type your chat in, and you just pay from there. All right. Okay, so we're looking at Julie here, and what is Mike feeling about her right now? So what is Mike feeling? Okay, so I feel like there's a lot of restricted energy here with Mike. We get the Chariot reversed, which is called awareness in this deck. And we also have the Four of Pentacles reversed, which is the Miser. So I feel like, first of all, the energy I get from Mike towards you, Julie, is that he doesn't want to give up on you, but he also doesn't know how to move forward. And I know that's the type of message that comes through a lot in pick a card readings and stuff like that. But so I'm going to go deeper into it. Why does he feel that he doesn't want to let go of you? We get the Fool reversed. He knows there's a beautiful experience to be had with you, that there's more to this experience that he wants. But again, this is the Fool reversed. He knows that there's a beautiful journey that he could have with you. Why does he hold back? Playfulness. I think that he sees your energy as flirtatious and lighthearted, and he likes that about you. But I think maybe he right now is feeling that he's like, but she's just nice to everybody. I feel like that's part of it. He doesn't want to give up on this, but he's not sure if he's special to you. Yeah, because this is the Empress reversed. He sees you as the Empress. Beautiful, you're loving, he loves spending time with you. But this is in reverse. So when you see the Empress in reverse, someone is questioning the way that someone uses their feminine beauty. So sometimes he's suspicious that maybe you just turn on your womanly wiles for everyone. Yeah, he has very strong feelings. I mean, we have the thunderbolt here. Like, this is a very passionate energy. I feel like he almost has like a tantric connection to you. Like, he's definitely turned on by you, I would say, but it's almost like in a tantric sort of a way. Like he feels it, whether he believes in chakras and all of that. I feel like he does feel it in that way. He might just assume that that's a normal physical experience. But yeah, I feel like there's a very tantric energy that he picks up between the two of you. Let me get a song from him to you as well. What song would Mike play for her that would express, if he wanted to be open and honest about his feelings? If Mike wanted to be open and honest about his feelings, which of these songs would he play? Ooh, this is good. This is Taylor Swift, Lover. Now, my camera for live stream is probably not going to pick this up very well, but the Taylor Swift song, Lover, oh my gosh, it's I'm just going to read you the lyrics that I have here, Julie. We could leave the Christmas lights on till January. This is our place. We make the rules. And there's a dazzling haze, a mysterious way about you, dear. Have I known you 20 seconds or 20 years? So I feel like he feels that way as well. Like, wow, we haven't, like, I don't know how long you've known him, but from the beginning, he felt this deep connection that defied the amount of time you had actually known each other. We could let our friends crash in the living room. This is our place. We make the call. And I'm highly suspicious that everyone who sees you wants you, which I already picked up on that. I've loved you 3 summers now, honey, but I want them all. Can I go where you go? Can we always be this close forever and ever? Take me out, take me home. You're my lover. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand? With every guitar string scar on my hand, I take this magnetic force of a man to be my lover. Yeah, so I feel like he's definitely seeing the possibility of a future. He likes the idea of living with you and spending time with you, maybe even having shared moments with your friends, like moments when you're living together and there are your friends are around. So I think like these are sort of some of the things that he's imagining in his head. But yeah, I think primarily the thing that is holding him back is that he's not really sure how special he is to you. Because part of him is like, well, she's just always nice to everybody. It's a final thought for her. Innocent, reversed. There's a lot of happiness and joy coming from him. And it is this very loving energy, but I feel like your guides just want to remind you, like, not all of his thoughts about you are so innocent, but still positive, but like he has some less innocent thoughts of you. In other words, like he wants to spend time alone with you is what I feel like. Spend time alone being physical together, but also just spending time alone, watching TV or playing board games or whatever. Like, I feel like he wants to have that type of life with you. That's what I feel. So let me know if that makes sense for you, Katrian. Let's see if there's anything final I'm sorry, Julie. Your guides know who you are. Okay, so you already do that. Yeah, but why is he holding back? So if you're already spending time together, why is he holding back? It does resonate with you. Well, that's good. Yeah, even though you are hanging out together, I don't know if you're explicitly calling it dates yet, but he still is very aware that there are other guys who are interested in you. And there is a kind of an ego thing that's holding him back a little bit until he feels more reassured that let me see. What if she did tell him how she felt? What if she didn't? I think that your guides are actually saying it's safe to hold off. You don't have to spill all the beans now. So I pulled a card for each. If you tell him your feelings now, we have the 10 of Cups, which is in reversal. So it might be a little bit of emotional flooding, even though he wants to know that he's the only guy. I think, you know, if you don't tell him right now, we have the 10 of Pentacles. So there's safety and security. There's safety and security here. I don't think that you have to necessarily say it out loud so quickly. Either way you go, we have 10 cards here. There's a 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles. But I feel like your guides are saying you're safe to kind of keep your cards a little bit closer to your chest right now if you want to. You may not get the reaction you want if you do tell him that he's the only one, even though that's what he wants to know. You're not going to ruin anything by continuing to allow him doubt it. You know, like if you really, I think the message is sort of like, if he really wants to know if he's exclusive to you, then maybe he needs to take a risk here. Do you know what I mean? There's security. I feel like take your time. There's security here. You don't have to put all your cards out on the table right now. But yeah, very good potential here. I think he just wants to keep spending more time with you so that he can start to see the truth that he's the only one. It isn't necessarily that he has to hear the truth yet that he's the only one. Yeah, there's a lot of really positive energy around this connection, Julie. All right. So that was good. I liked that. So I'm probably going to be here for about 10 more minutes. The star card, this is from the Cosmic Tarot. Sorry, I have decks all around me, so I'm just grabbing different ones that are calling out to me in the moment. Thank you, Julie. I'm so glad. Sending lots of kind thoughts your way. It looks like a really beautiful connection. Hi, Mary. It's nice to have you. I hope you're doing well in New Zealand. Seems like there are always people from just all over the world. The beauty of the internet, we get to connect with people from all over the world. Let's get a general message again for the group. And then in a few moments, I'm going to get off here. I wonder if he knows that you like that song, because the question I asked is which card would he choose, or which song would he choose from this deck? Which song would he choose for you if you wanted to be totally honest about your feelings? So maybe he knows that you like that song too, in addition to the message being accurate. Okay, general message here, prosperity. Hey, Cheryl, thank you for subscribing. Prosperity, abundantia. The universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. I feel like this goes along with the previous message that we had about boundaries, and that we don't have to give and give and give and give and give. There's sometimes that comes from a lack mentality, that if I don't deplete myself, I'll never get back what I deserve in life. And I think as we're like moving forward now, collectively understanding true abundance, we're understanding that that's not the case. That's not how we create our prosperity. It's not by depleting ourselves. You know, the powers that be can try to tell us that if we don't work 70 hours a week, we're not worthy of making a decent living, for example. That's not true. That is not true. I mean, yes, Cheryl, you can ask a question. I'm doing payments for questions, though. You can see in the description box what the different payments amounts are. They're all pretty reasonable. Hi, Patricia. Oops. Okay, so this is for this prosperity message to all of us. Thank you, Doorway. It was nice to have you. Okay. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. We can ask for help, and that doesn't make us weak. Correct. You are very powerful, and I'm here to support your growing power. It's right for you to receive this help. As we function as a team, I've heard your prayers, worries, and affirmations. I'm pouring my cornucopia of prosperity upon you now. So expect unforeseen windfalls and gifts. Notice the new ideas, feelings, and visions within you. This guidance gives you clear direction about actions to take in conjunction with my assistance. Together we are unstoppable. If anyone out there has been struggling with abundance, ask for help. Ask for help from your guides and angels. Also, just try to let go of that worry. Thank you, Miss M. And then here, this explains who Abundantia is. Abundantia is a beautiful Roman and Norse goddess of prosperity, success, and abundance who is said to bring good fortune and financial windfalls to all who call upon her. She carries a cornucopia of golden coins, which trail behind her wherever she goes. One sign that she's with you is that you'll find lots of spare change in unlikely locations. And rest assured that Abundantia brings more than pocket money to those who call upon her. She bestows all kinds of prosperity, including increased amounts of time, ideas, and other forms of support. Wonderful. We also have Vesta Home. It might be that you start seeing prosperity more clearly even in your actual physical home, or there are opportunities to bring in more the energy of prosperity, maybe through feng shui, if you know how to do that, or just any kind of like understanding the connection between energy and your physical space. So this is just a collective message to all of us. And then we have White Terra, sensitivity. So again, to go along with the collective message, I think that we're becoming more sensitive in general, but this could be a message about being sensitive to your environment, and that your prosperity is going to adjust more if you can adjust your physical space. So maybe doing something to change up your decor or declutter. I feel like this is a personal message to me that's coming through, because these are things that have been on my mind. I love Vesta, Sydney. I agree. She's one of my favorites. And then Ishtar, boundaries. Well, this is where we started out, having good boundaries. Love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. Decluttering as we speak. Oh my gosh, I need motivation. I don't have that much stuff, but it's more stuff than I actually need or use. So yeah, I want to declutter as well. And I've been feeling this for a while, that I'm like, I know. I have this very strong intuitive feeling. If I declutter, then prosperity will come in. You have to make space for it. There has to be room for that prosperity. All right. Well, if nobody else is wanting a reading, I hope that you all enjoyed this conversation. I thought this was a great topic. I'm going to have a different topic every week. Hopefully, I won't have the same technical difficulties starting out next week as I did this time. Well, I'm glad that it was helpful for you as well. I mean, I feel like that's the way that it goes. And I think that's why the pick a card readings are so effective, because like psychically and intuitively, all of our experiences, we're all one, but we're all experiencing that oneness in our own particular, individual experience. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Say. Thank you, Silver Star, Sydney, Miss M. Thank you so much for all of your help. I had fun with you guys as well. And if I haven't said your name here, Doorways, I think already left, but Julie, Putit, thanks for you. We had a prankster come in. I don't know if that will show up in the live stream after this has ended, but hi, Chris, Gemini, Chris. We're leaving now. You came just in time for the end, but I'll be back here next week, next Thursday, 3:30 p.m.-ish Eastern time, which is the same as New York City time. So I hope you all have a blessed rest of your day. I'm going to try to get some work done, but we'll see how it goes. I think today might be a productive day. It's 5 p.m. It's not been super productive so far, but I am a night owl, so we'll see. Either way. All right. Thanks. It was fun, guys, and I'll see you again next week. And I should have a pick a card reading coming out between now and then, so look out for that. Love y'all. Bye-bye.